suggested some sort of a brand extension.
Ruthless aggression. Allow me to introduce you to the new general manager of Raw, Eric Bradshaw.
Who in the green hell are you?
I lie, I cheat, I steal. And at WrestleMania,
I just hear myself say 3 minutes.
well, let me tell you something, brother.
Whoa.
Hello and welcome to Dits versus Josh. I am, of course, Dits, and I'm joined by Josh this week, and he's probably not going to talk for a little while because I think he's hurting. He's a hurt man. This week, well, last week, we obviously put up the poll for that episode, and you're never going to believe who won in an absolute shocker. It was moi, 4-0, 54%. How are you feeling, Josh? You okay?
Okay, so here's the silver lining. I tried to take a new approach last week. I was a little less hostile, a little more friendly. And I think it did well for the tone of the show, for me, my mental health, everything. Because, let's pull out that card. But I didn't lose in a staggering amount. It was like less than 10%. So
I mean, to your credit, it's never any more. I don't think it's ever been more than 55% my way.
no,
Ever.
I don't think
So-
so. We're always been, and I was winning for a pretty good chunk of time last week. I know that for a fact because I kept fucking looking.
I think the thing is you forget that it's because the poll used to only run for like 2-3 days, something like that. And now we've done it for like the whole week.
It's the whole week.
And like I just kept forgetting that we even had this second poll. And I was like, oh, I wonder what's going on here. And then I'd look and you'd be when I'm like, nah, not happening. And then I'd see that it'd be like on like X amount of votes, and then want to jump up, and you jump up 5%. I'm just like,
Yeah.
are you fucking kidding me right now?
But you still won, of course.
Still one,
because
you. This is Dits.
But it's okay. I'm still without a victory. We're still a long time to go, and
Mhm.
I'm not
Years.
losing by a lot. So I'm not losing by a lot. So I'm not.
Is this going to be a Goldberg-esque streak? Maybe.
Luckily, I'm not a Goldberg guy, eh?
I'd settle for the Undertaker. I'd get into the 20s to nil.
Wait till the day I break that streak. People are either going to be really happy or they're going to be really sad.
I
depending
would
on
be
who
really.
you are.
I don't think I'd show up, to be honest. I'd say, right, let's get ready to record, and I just wouldn't show up.
That's all right.
And you can brag on your own.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I'll just be like, Smackdown happened. Cool. And then just talk about Raw. Although, Raw is kind of... I said this to you in our pre-recording. I like Raw a lot because it's a little bit more entertaining for me to go back and watch it because the stuff that's really good is really great. Like, it's so good. But the stuff that's bad is like bottom of the fucking garbage can. Like, I am ready to take it to the dump. So... It's more entertaining for me, way more entertaining, but it's very hard to sell sometimes. You've got the backdrop of being like, no matter what, I've got really great wrestling on this show, because SmackDown probably was the wrestling show.
Yeah.
And Raw was way more that entertainment-based show.
Unfortunately, I'm not there though yet. I'm still
No, that's true.
I'm
get there,
wrestling through a lot of crap at the moment. Which you'll see.
Oh, you'll see.
It's not as bad
online
as
too.
last week. It's not as bad as last week. Last week was awful.
We had both had bad shows last week.
Mhm.
They were it was just bad. Now we're like, so I'm pretty certain I got the date right. Judgment Day is May 19th. So that would be about 3 weeks, I think. So I think we got another couple of episodes of Raw and SmackDown before we have
2
Judgment.
left.
Yeah, we got
After
2.
this.
Yeah, so after this, we've got 2 more episodes left to Judgment Day. So we do have Insurrection in there, but that doesn't really count because it's just Raw. And
Boo.
I watched Insurrection like a couple months back, and it means not. It's basically just like a glorified Raw stuff that's already happened. That's how they used to do the UK shows, wasn't it? They just because it was like exclusive, wasn't it? They didn't air in the States, I don't think.
Don't think so. Yeah, we had Insurrection and
Rebellion.
Rebellion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember because they used to air here. They used to air here, but they didn't air in the States. Because I even distinctly remember JR saying when I watched Insurrection like a month or so ago, he said it's airing live in the UK, live in Australia, I think New Zealand, that part of the world. So, yeah, we got it for some reason. They were always okay from memory. At least from
They are. They're good for what they are, but
they weren't
like you
anything
said,
like important per se.
So we can gloss over that.
Yeah, we can just gloss over it. And anyway, it'll
Never
tell
have.
me next week on Raw exactly what happens at Insurrection. So, at least next week on Raw is London or Manchester.
Hmm.
Does that mean SmackDown is as well? Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe only Raw did the.
I don't know how they used to do it. Yeah.
Anyway, I get Raw in London or Manchester next week. They used to only do London and Manchester, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, like for TV. I know that Insurrection was in London, so maybe Raw's in London as well. Don't know, but I get a cool crowd next week because UK crowd's always lit.
We like the wrestling.
Very much so. They're some of my favorite crowds is that UK.
And you'll hear us in numbers at WrestleMania this year as well, as you always do.
WrestleMania. WrestleMania makes me really just upset.
Sad.
Yeah. Because I want to love it, and it's WrestleMania week. Any other time I'd be like, here we go, WrestleMania's in a few days, and this year I'm just kind of like, oh man. I'm grateful that it's happening and there's something to watch, but could you imagine the anticipation of an actual 2-day WrestleMania with 2 sets of crowds?
I mean, one night is I'm saying with you, like we've talked about this before, like how excited we get about WrestleMania, and to spread that over 2 nights, a whole weekend of WrestleMania, fucking bring that shit on. I'd be all over that, but it's just hard to get into it.
Maybe later in the week we might be like, okay,
yeah,
maybe when it's on, we might be like, okay, this is pretty cool. And it sounds weird, but I'm kind of glad I haven't read any spoilers. You've stayed away from spoilers, which is a good thing. At this point, I've stayed away from spoilers. I'm trying to avoid them. It might be better that it is taped, because I might be able to edit around some shit, maybe use some different camera techniques. And I did notice on Smackdown last week, they did a few different camera techniques, and it made it feel a little bit different, like tried to make up for a little bit of the fact that there is no audience. But
yeah, with the Corbin.
Yeah, I didn't hate
stuff.
that.
Yeah.
Some people didn't like that.
I didn't. I didn't
liked
mind it.
Because it's different. It makes wrestling... Whenever wrestling looks a little bit different, I'm always like, I'll give it a try. Because wrestling's looked the same for 25 years, essentially. It's like hard cam, do a few camera changes, focus on the wrestling, and focus on the crowd. Now you can't do that, so let's focus on their faces, focus on what they're saying. I noticed in the Asuka and Bliss match last week, they did that, so who knows? It's WrestleMania week though, guys, so this is starting WrestleMania week on the Josh Robinson 00 network, so I thought I'd just mention WrestleMania, but I guess we should probably get into Raw.
Oh, you shoot for the stars, my friend.
All right, so Raw is in Buffalo, New York. Woo, Buffalo. Let's go Buffalo. April 29th, 2002. So, I was 7. I was 7 years old when this show came out. Yeah, 7 years old. I think I counted right, yeah. 1, 2, 3. No, I was 6. I was 6 years old when this show came out.
Welcome to Dits versus Josh, the Maths edition.
I think I was 6 or 7. I don't know how to work that out. I'm like, when was I born? 1964. Like what? But yes, I was a wee little one. I probably would have watched this show. I couldn't imagine why I wouldn't have. Maybe.
I didn't.
Personally, I don't know, but I can't remember if I did or not. But we kicked things off with a match on Raw again. That's 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row on Raw. We kicked things off with a match. It's an Intercontinental Championship match. Eddie Guerrero defending against Jeff Hardy.
Oh,
I can't tell you what Jeff Hardy has done to earn this shot.
it's so funny you've just said that because I have something very, very similar to that on my show. Funnily enough.
When so Jeff came out and Lillian Garcia was like, this contest is scheduled for one fall, it's for the Intercontinental Championship, and I was like, Jeff Hardy was getting his ass kicked at Backlash by Brock Lesnar. So I don't know what he's done. Maybe there's been some house shows that I missed, apparently, that they didn't upload to the network, that I seen him win this big number one contenders tournament. But Jeff versus Eddie Guerrero. So not a bad opener. You couldn't imagine this would be bad.
No.
Right? I mean, it's not bad at all. It's not wonderful. There's not a lot to really dissect. It's pretty back and forth, but the finish is, of course, Eddie Guerrero cheating. The ref gets knocked down. I think Jeff goes to do some kind of fucking lollygag move off the top rope and knocks down the ref. And then Jeff throws Eddie to the outside, and Eddie goes and grabs his championship, and Jeff does like a what's it called? Like a thing over the top rope. What's that thing called? Why can't I think of the name? Like when you launch yourself, just some kind of jump. All right, I can't think of the name. Usually I'm great with move names, but I can't think of it. Whatever. And then Eddie clocks him in the head with the title, rolls him in, big frog splash. Like I'm talking, this guy got some height on that, and he beat Jeff. Cool. Eddie beat Jeff, retains the championship. I don't know why that happened. There was no real explanation of why Jeff got the championship match.
No involvement from RVD in this?
No.
Because I assume they were still feuding. They did something last week, didn't they?
Yep. I think they mentioned it. Jim Ross definitely mentioned it on commentary, but there was no involvement from RVD. There was nothing like that. Eddie just won. Also, yes, can confirm after last week, Lita is getting neck surgery. I think it was the next day after this Raw. Matt was with her, so there was no Matt with Jeff. It was just Jeff.
Okay.
But yeah, she's after her breaking her neck in 3 places on Dark Angel. Yeah.
Rough.
And I did listen to something about that to just confirm what actually happened. She was doing a stunt, and they were doing like some kind of like, there was something in that show that involved a wrestling ring, and that's why they brought in Lita. And Lita was like, oh, yeah, I can obviously do my own stunts, my own moves. And the actor girl that was with her went to do like a Hurricane Rana, and they taught her how to do it and stuff like that. And instead of falling, she dropped Lita and landed straight on the top of her head and broke her neck.
Ooh.
So imagine that. Like, imagine being told by WWE, like, hey, we're going to send you off to do Dark Angel. You're going to get to be in TV. Breaks her neck and can't do the thing that she's actually employed for however. She was out for a long time. She was out for over a year. So, yeah, that'd be pretty awful. Wouldn't be a great
Considering she survived, and I'm sure she did when she was unscathed, when she went for that suicide dive.
Yeah, she was completely unscathed. I actually watched something about that too. You know those WWE playback things they have on YouTube where they go back and they watch their own. Trish and Lita did one a couple of years ago before Evolution, and she basically said when she did the dive and landed scorpioned herself on her neck and it looked awful. She said her and Trish were laying on the ground, and Trish said to her, she said to Lita, "Did you hear that noise? The crowd just why did they gasp like that?" And she goes, "I don't know. My legs didn't get clipped and nothing like that." And she said she went backstage and watched it on the replay, and she was like, "Oh, that didn't look good." She said nothing hurt. She said I just kind of spiked myself. She said, "I don't know how that happened." She said she must have just over-rotated. But Trish just said to her, "Why'd they make that noise?" Because the crowd were like, "Oh," "Oh no," because it didn't look good. But yeah, she was completely fine. That was way after she broke her neck. So that was a couple of years after. That was in the end of 2004. So this is way after that.
Maybe she had titanium plating in that neck.
Yeah, it's just bionic.
Can withstand anything. Come on.
Strong crowd. Yeah, so then we go backstage, and it's Steve Austin, and he's pissed after what happened with Big Show last week. Ric Flair at Backlash. Austin said to a producer, he just went up and said, "Where's Ric Flair?" Well, first he said, "Where's that sorry son of a bitch?" And the producer said, "I'm sorry, Vince McMahon is not here tonight."
Wee.
And then he said, I'm talking about that other piece, son of a bitch, Ric Flair, and he said, yeah, he's in his office. He said, go tell Ric Flair I'm going to meet him in the ring. So go to the ring, and Steve Austin comes out. Before Steve Austin even talks, he cracks open a beer. Because he said he's pissed off, he needs a drink. Says he's in a bad mood. He said, in his words, he's a lot pissed off. I don't know if that's English or not, but he's a lot pissed off. That's what Steve Austin said. He did one of those typical Steve Austin, crowd, what, one of those promos, not mad. He wants a match with the Big Show. He wants the Big Show in the ring tonight in Buffalo. They all go crazy. Jerry Lawler says cheap pop. All of that good shit you'd get from Austin. Flair comes out. He doesn't appreciate Austin's accusation of Flair being the one basically to put Big Show in the match to turn on him, thinking he's aligning with the NWO, all that stuff. But Flair says that Big Show is not here tonight because he sent him on a promotional tour of India. So he's in India. So he can't wrestle.
Random.
He can't wrestle Big Show tonight. But tonight, we're going to get X-Pac and Scott Hall against the team of Steve Austin and Bradshaw.
Yes.
Fuck my ass. Like, what the fuck? Why is Bradshaw always fucking here? This does not concern you, Bradshaw. But it gets better. It gets better. Because there will be a special referee for that match. Ric Flair is going to be the referee for this match.
Oh, for
tonight.
God's sake.
Yay. So not only do we get Bradshaw, which I'm just over the moon about, we also get Ric Flair, who clearly apologized for the way he officiated that match at Backlash. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to do it again. Why not just be in it again? That sounds like a swell idea. Basically, he says to Austin, if you put your hands on me in this match, you'll be suspended or worse. So I guess he means fired. Ric Flair got really booed in this segment. Like, really booed. Especially when he sent Big Show on a promotional tour of India. They booed the shit out of that. I wouldn't have. I'd be like, thank God he's not here. We don't have to see that 7-foot moron. See you later.
Take Bradshaw with you.
Honestly, that'd be the best. But on to brighter things. We go backstage. We got Goldust and Booker T. Booker T's flexing
Hooray.
in the mirror, being Booker T, sucker, all that good stuff. Booker says that he's got Goldust is walking in as Booker's kind of, being Booker T, and he says he's got a match with RVD tonight. Goldust basically says that you shouldn't have a match with RVD tonight because we should be in a tag match because we're the best team ever in the WWF.
Yes.
Booker says, no, I want a match with RVD. I want to be a single superstar. So Goldust says, fine. If we can't be a team tonight, it's okay. Because I want me to be there in spirit. I want you to take something of mine that shows that we're unified and you can represent me in this match. So he puts on his wig on Booker T with his blonde wig, and basically Goldust says, you look stunning, and Booker T says, damn right I look stunning, looks in the mirror, and then kind of does the Booker T eyes when he's like, tell me I don't just look like this. That's what he said, and then throws it off, gets upset, and walks off, and that's the end of the segment. Great shit. Like, anything with Goldust and Booker T, I'm so here for. It's just so good. Like, they're just the best, honestly.
And you have it for a while as well.
Yeah, from memory, they're here for a while. But we go to the ring, and it's Booker T versus Rob Van Dam. Nothing really noteworthy happens in the actual wrestling itself. You wouldn't really expect a lot out of like a random Raw match between these two. But Goldust ends up coming down to the ring. And so there's this spot where Goldust gets up on the apron. He goes to hit Rob Van Dam and accidentally gets Booker 5-star, and RVD wins. And then Booker and Goldust kind of argue after the match. Nothing crazy, but just furthers along what we're going on with Booker and Goldust. Really want to skip
Building
over
up
this.
to perfection.
I really want to skip over this fucking segment because Terry, good old Terry, is interviewing Bradshaw. Basically, she asked him about getting knocked out. He said that Big Show was the one who hit him from behind. So And he's going to get revenge on Big Show next week. So next week, we're going to get Bradshaw and Big Show, I guess. My fucking dream match, it seems.
Classic.
And he says the Texas boys are going to light up Buffalo tonight. Him and Austin. And he says that if Flair gets in the way, he'll beat the shit out of him too, pretty much. I can't wait. I can't wait. We go to another backstage segment, and this time it's Jazz doing push-ups. She's doing push-ups. She's got the women's championship there. In walks the greatest of all time, Molly Holly. Molly asks, and okay, here's where Raw gets a little wacky. Molly asks why Jazz is challenging Bubba Ray Dudley for the Hardcore Championship tonight.
Excuse me?
I was as surprised as you. I was like, is she? I didn't know that was a thing. But anyway, Jazz gets up, looks Molly directly in the eyes, and says nothing and walks off. And Molly's just kind of standing there like, oh my God. So yeah, we've got Jazz and Bubba Ray Dudley for the Hardcore Championship tonight.
It's a bit random.
That's more random than Jeff
As
going
far
for the IC title. Were we meant to know this? Was there some kind of weird Twitter that we didn't know about then where they made this match? I don't know. Bite this, yeah, or on MySpace or something. Was MySpace a thing in 2002? Probably not.
Probably not.
Not quite, no. Social media wasn't really a thing yet.
2005, 2006, maybe,
something
social
like
media?
that, yeah. We're still a few years out from social media. So they must have just announced this match somewhere along the line.
Sounds great.
We'll get to it. It's a hoot. So we go to another interview, and this time the coach is with Sean Stasiak.
Oh, my favorite. Yes.
So, of course,
lay it on me.
Sean Stasiak last week got knocked out by Regal, and Regal won in like 2 seconds, if you remember. Well, not 2 seconds, in like 3 seconds, obviously. Tonight, Sean Stasiak is signed on to fight Brock Lesnar.
Ooh.
I didn't make out what exactly Sean Stasiak said, but it was something about Planet Stasiak. He was going to take Brock Lesnar to Planet Stasiak or something like that. Some gibberish, like something I don't know. So we go straight to that match, and it's going to be Brock and Sean Stasiak. As you can imagine, Sean Stasiak dominates this match, as you could just imagine. No, he doesn't. Brock beats the absolute crap out of him. The referee stops the match. You know, the standard Brock Lesnar stuff that you've seen. I don't really know what Brock's doing at this point. I think he's just... They're not having him win by pinfall or submission. It's always by referee stoppage, because Heyman's, like, got to control the beast, basically. But there's really nothing. He just destroyed Sean Stasiak. Sorry. I know that you're a big Sean Stasiak mark. But here's a good segment. All right, so Flair is on the phone backstage in his office. He's got his ref shirt on, and in walks Deborah, Stone Cold Steve Austin's wife at the time. Flair asked Deborah, he called her in there basically to say, Austin won't listen to me. I need you to go talk to Austin for me and say that he's telling the truth. He didn't purposely screw over Austin. He didn't know about Big Show joining the NWO. He said, can you please convince Austin that I'm a good person and I'm just trying to do what's right for him? And she says, it's funny that you called me in here because Austin actually asked me to deliver a message to you. And she slapped Ric Flair so hard across the face. Like, I felt it. It was a brutal slap. I was like, Deborah, damn. And then she said,
like
DTA.
A Steph slap.
It was like a very Stephanie McMahon slap. Like, very Stephanie McMahon. And then she said, DTA, don't trust anyone. Deborah leaves, and Flair whines about not getting any respect. He's basically like, this bitch, basically. We go to another backstage segment. I know, they're just fucking coming along like fire. This one's with The Undertaker and Sergeant Slaughter.
What?
So, Sergeant Slaughter was on the phone, like on a payphone, mind you. Backstage, there was a payphone. So
was he in his like whole get up?
No, he was in like a WWE.
Oh, so this is when he had it. Oh, yeah, okay,
like
yeah.
He was an official, but he was on the phone to like his family, and he looks over and Taker's there, full hoodie, you know, Taker, and he basically says, "How's the family, Sarge?" And he said, "Yeah, they're good." And he says, "I don't really care anyway." I'm like, "Oh, here we go." So he hangs up the phone, like Taker takes the phone and hangs it up, and says, "Do you know Hulk Hogan?" He said, well, yeah. He said, you've been, been through a lot with Hogan. And Sergeant's like, yeah, I have. We've had a lot of battles. And he goes, I need you to give a message to Hogan tonight. I want him in the ring, and I want him face to face. And then basically tells Sergeant to fuck off. So get out of here. I'm going to use the phone, basically. And then he goes to call someone. I don't really know why. I don't know. Maybe Limp Bizkit or something like that. Fred Durst or something.
He could use a phone then because he wasn't a dead man.
Well, yeah, he was
get
more
away
of
with
a
it.
human, wasn't he? He was
Yeah.
dead. He was well and alive. Bit of a badass, if you would say. So we get the big match now. Steve Austin and that motherfucker taking on the NWOs, Scott Hall and X-Pac. And for some reason, they say that Kevin Nash is still suspended, even though he was on Raw last week, backstage. So I don't really understand what's going on there. It was weird, but referee is Ric Flair. This match is so...
Before you start,
Okay.
is Ric Flair wearing his Dorothy shoes?
I didn't take
Bright
note.
red. Bright red. You couldn't miss it.
They're black. They're black.
Oh,
they're black.
come on,
From memory,
Rick.
they're black. I watched this yesterday, and I would have noticed if they were red. Surely.
You reserved that for a pay-per-view then. Unbelievable.
Pay-per-view ref shoes.
Huh.
So this match is bad. I'm talking it's sloppy. There's so many spots that X-Pac and Scott Hall just don't know what they're doing. Oh my god, it's just such a long, bad match. The selling of Bradshaw on his hurt knee is so bad. He just keeps falling over and he's like, I'm like, stop. This is so bad. So let's just get to the finish because the match is sloppy as all hell. So Austin hits a stunner on X-Pac and he lays down. Flair looks, starts counting, and Scott Hall puts the foot on the rope of X-Pac, but Flair didn't see it. 1, 2, 3. Austin and Bradshaw win, and Flair immediately leaves the ring after the match. Like, immediately. He's like, bye. We showed the camera angle. It was like the deal at Backlash. He didn't see the foot on the rope. You know, that fucking collusion again.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Come back from a break, obviously, and we're back with the NWO and Ric Flair backstage, and he's like, what the hell, man? Like, my referee was on the rope. And Hall points right at Ric Flair and says, if there's a wrestler, if he was a wrestler, he would take him out. You're lucky you're the boss. And then Flair says, be careful what you wish for.
Ooh.
I know, the suspense. So we go to the Undertaker in the ring. Taker talks about being better than Hogan in his prime. He ran Hogan out of the WWF back in the day. All of that, you know, he said whatever. I don't know how I feel about Taker's promos. I'm a bit indifferent on these Taker promos. How do you feel about Badass or Big Evil Taker promos from memory?
I think his heel stuff is very...
It's like very drawn out, like very like,
yeah.
I'm gonna beat you up.
Yeah, and I think when he turns face in that last little stint of like human Taker, biker Taker, whatever you want to call him, I think he gets better. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from. It's very just... It exists. It doesn't really wow.
But yes, this is standard stuff. Hogan comes out. The crowd goes, you know, batshit crazy. And Taker, this is the line that I have noted here. Taker says, I'm going to beat you down like the bitch you are. Yeah. And then Hogan takes down Taker. They brawl a little bit. Hogan rips off his shirt and Taker runs off. He's like, see ya. Because he doesn't want to see those old man titties, I guess. Same. But here we go. Hardcore Championship. Bubba Ray taking on Jazz. Champion versus champion. Women's champ versus hardcore champ. There's an interview beforehand. You know how they have the little deal where Bubba walks out and they have the little screen and he had an interview?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he basically says, Jazz, all guts, no brain. I don't know. And he says that, so this is not my words. This is Bubba's. He said, There's a very common denominator when it comes to Bubba Ray, Dudley, and women in the WWF. And Coach is like, they all get put through a table. He's like, they all get Bubba's wood.
Oh.
I was like, this bitch. So yeah. They fight a little bit, and Jazz gets in a lot of stuff. Like, she's kicking him in the nads, she's hitting him with shovels, kendo sticks, trash cans, and then he puts a trash can on her face and starts just bashing it. There's a lot of hardcore weapon spots, as you would imagine. But of course, this is the 24/7 Hardcore Championship, so in comes Steven Richards.
Did he come in last week as well?
Yes, he's been hunting down this championship for a long time. And Steven comes in, Bubba's like, I'm ready, and then Jazz cracks a shovel over Bubba Ray's head, and I was like, ooh. And then the guitar over, Steven Richards hits the guitar over the head, gets the 3 count, and Jazz and Steven Richards hug, and they run off. So Steven Richards wins this Hardcore Championship match.
That's a bit weird.
So I guess
why are Jazz and Richards suddenly aligned?
I have absolutely no idea. Absolutely no idea.
Jazz could have just pinned Stevie Richards.
Or she would have just pinned Bubba. Jazz is a scary bitch. Like I said last week, I wouldn't want to get into a fight with Jazz. She'd beat me up. And apparently she's all guts, no brain.
Shovel.
Yeah, and yeah, she hit him right. And you know how Bubba Ray takes weapon bumps. Like, he takes them right on the top of his noggin. He didn't give a fuck. And it was like, dong. I was like, oh boy. And when she kicked him in the dick, holy crap, that was like full balls. I was like, oh, that would hurt. In that match though, there was dancing. Bubba Ray and his weird dancing. I don't know why. He was shaking his ass at her at one stage. That's when she kicked him in the testes. She was like, I've had enough of this bitch. I was like, me too. So backstage, we get Dits' favorite, William Regal. He's drinking tea, as he would, because tonight's main event is Hulk Hogan versus William Regal.
Why?
I don't know.
Just why? Why is that?
He's watching Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling cartoon, if you remember those cartoons that Hogan used to be in. He talks negative about the fans worshipping Hulkamania. I mean, in the light of things, he's pretty right. He says that he's a very sad man. Again, can't really say that he's wrong. He says that he's going to beat Hulk Hogan tonight, and he's going to put himself in contention for the Undisputed WWF Championship.
That'll do it.
I wouldn't be mad with that. But if you think Bradshaw's gone, you're wrong. Because backstage, we have Stone Cold, Bradshaw, and Ric Flair again. They're drinking beer. Flair enters and asks Austin if he proves where he stands. He was like, yo, did I prove that I'm doing the right thing? You won. I didn't do anything, to screw you over. And Austin was like, basically like, get absolutely wrecked. No, you haven't. I still don't like you. You screwed me over at Backlash. And he says, fine, I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to prove to you that I'm here for you and I'm all for you and you're the man and whatever. So next week, Big Show returns because it's going to be Scott Hall, X-Pac, and the Big Show taking on Steve Austin, Bradshaw, and Ric Flair.
Oh, God.
And then he just woos and walks off.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm real pumped for that fucking 6-man main event next week. Fucking UK, here we go. Fucking Raw.
Yeah, they're gonna love that.
Raw's going Vogue. Fucking whatever. Spike Dudley, European Championship match is next.
I always forget about that title.
Spike Dudley taking on Goldust.
For the title?
Yeah, for the title.
Okay.
Goldust beats up Spike for a little while, and Booker T runs in while the referee's not looking and kicks Goldust right in his wig. And then Spike hits the Dudley Dog and beats Goldust for the win. Spike's still the European champ.
There's a lot of weird title matches going on here.
There's three. There's 3 title matches on this show. I don't know why.
And then Regal in the main event. Not that I'm complaining, but what is going on?
I don't know. Well, speaking of the main event, we're here. Hulk Hogan, William Regal. There is a spot in this match that I'm not kidding when I say this. I'm not making it up. Everyone go back to April 29th, 2002 and go to the main event. The opening spot of this match is William Regal holding a cup of tea. And he says, Hogan, have a drink. And he offers him a spot of tea, if you will. And then Hogan drinks it, but then spits it onto Regal.
How dare he?
They brawl. Taker runs down and beats the living piss out of Hogan for a little while.
Oh, yes.
He takes Hogan's belt buckle thingo, puts it around his wrist and batters his face in with it. Hogan's bleeding. Hogan fights his way back, of course, and Taker knocks him down again. Big choke slam, and Taker ends Raw holding the WWF Undisputed Championship. Because they're going to fight at Judgment Day.
I like that.
Raw goes off the air. So, again, not a bad Raw. Just there was some shit on it. but there was some okay stuff. So I wouldn't say it was terrible, but
it sounds okay.
It's fine. It did its job.
Nothing. Yeah.
Better than last week. So.
Yeah, I don't think that's difficult though. Like last week was, oh boy,
it wasn't great.
Not good.
It was not good at all.
We got Bradshaw 3 times, so there is that.
Yay.
And Hogan pissing blood.
And Hogan. Bradshaw, fuck off. I cannot wait until that man is gone. But I won't talk too far in the future because he's still on Raw. Alright, Smackdown time then.
Oh, here we go.
Ready.
Smackdown, baby. I actually got where it was from this time. Yay. I can actually pronounce it. It's very easy. It's from Mellon in Pittsburgh.
Mellon?
Yeah, Mellon. M-E-N-N? Menon. M-E-L-L-O-N.
Mellon.
Mellon. Never heard of it.
In Pittsburgh.
There you go.
Where did you say it was?
Pittsburgh.
Oh. Cool.
Kurt Angle's state of residence. So you can imagine there'll be something based around that at some point. Surprisingly, because SmackDown never does this, it starts off with a match. And it keeps with the trend of why the fuck are these guys challenging for titles? Rikishi and the Hurricane, who I don't think I've talked about once since we started this thing. They're taking on Billy and Chuck.
You've talked about Rikishi, but I can't recall.
But not Hurricane.
No.
Yeah. So Rikishi and Hurricane are randomly teaming against Billy and Chuck for the tag team titles.
You're as wacky as mine.
I was listening because I saw them come out and I was like, I don't understand what's happening here. As soon as they said, oh, it's for the tag team titles, I was like, have I missed something? Are they going to show something backstage to kind of catch me up with what's going on? And then I was like, okay, that hasn't happened. Maybe Taz or Michael Cole will tell me something, fill me in. Nothing. It's just something that happened.
It's just like
there
Jeff.
You go.
It's just like Jeff. They didn't really tell me why.
Didn't make any sense. However, I think you know what is due here, Josh.
Would that be a certain theme song?
Oh, it could be.
Let me stretch it out a little here because, it's been a minute. It's early in the morning. Well, it's not early in the morning, but I haven't been up all that long. Let's, good note there. I hit that fucking major C or whatever that was. I don't know. Some octave I don't understand. But anyway. You look so good to me. Damn. Sat on my balls for that one.
Gets better every week.
I know.
Gets better every week.
There's a reason why you win every fucking week. Is because my pipes.
That's why I do it. That's why I do it. I egg you on for my own gain.
Yes. I say yes.
So in my notes, how the fuck did they get this shot at the titles? It was a decent match. Rikishi and Hurricane are actually a very fun team together. Like, as you can imagine, they're not really billed as serious competitors, although Rikishi does have that side to him. And it looks like we were going to get some new champs. It was going that way, as these things always do. And Hurricane hits a crossbody, which is a classic finisher in 2002. But shocker, this whole thing here, because you've never seen this in a Billy and Chuck match before. Rikishi's pulled off the apron, which distracts the referee. Rico runs in, spinning heel kick, knocks Hurricane down, and Palumbo pins Hurricane for the 1-2-3. That seems to be rinse and repeat with Billy and Chuck matches. Either they get their fucking trunks pulled down, or Rico will interfere and fucking clock somebody in the head every single time. 4 weeks in a row now. Well, 5 weeks now. This is the 5th one. However, he did get some comeuppance. Hurricane hit a choke slam on him, and Rikishi shoved his ass in his face for the classic stink face.
I love a good stink face.
I'd like to see how that all comes about. Rico, by the way, you're gonna get your nose in the crack of Rikishi's ass tonight. Do you feel okay about that? How does that come about?
You know, it's really weird. So here's a little, I've wondered about that before, and I'm like, I wonder if anybody's ever talked about that on a podcast or something like that. 3 different people. I want to say one of them was Stone Cold. Maybe one of them was Jericho or something like that. A few different people have all said Rikishi always made sure his ass smelt nice. How courteous is that? You're gonna eat my ass for a little bit, just for a little bit, but I'll make it smell like fucking peaches or something. Just so you don't gag. But yeah, they said it never smelled bad. It always was fresh. He took care of us when he had to rub his ass in our face. So isn't that nice of Rikishi? Because he could just take a big poo and maybe just not wipe properly or something like that, and just make it all smelly.
Wipe with scented wet wipes. Nice.
Some people would probably be in that stage right now. Toilet paper's on a very low supply.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always wondered about how that all comes about and how people are actually over
that conversation. That conversation would be tonight at work. Imagine going home to your family and be like, "Oh, how was work? Yeah, not too bad. Just got some ass in my face on television.
Well, you smell a bit pooey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
but you don't
fresh.
smell poo. You smell peaches.
Yeah, maybe some peaches or something. I don't know if it was peaches.
It smells like lavender.
Yeah.
You smell like lavender.
His ass is just... What a fresh ass that was. I wouldn't prefer another ass in my face. You know? That's a lot of bum, by the way. That's a big bum.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's a huge ass.
He nails it pretty direct, though, to be fair. It's always the crack of the ass.
Oh, yeah. He knows what he's
doing.
It's not his first rodeo at this stage. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, the bullseye is in there.
Mm.
Of course, Rico doesn't like it, but why would you? Why would you like it?
Still a lot of bum, yeah.
So we head backstage, as we always do, and Lance Storm and the big Valbowski are in the locker room together. They're just talking away. You don't hear what they're saying. Kurt Angle walks in, and he's saying they're both really talented, but they're wasted on the SmackDown brand. And he said it's pathetic that their biggest contribution to SmackDown is betting $20 on Mark Henry. Kind of true. Big Valbowski is shit, in my opinion. And he's a bit of a dick.
A bit? Yeah, he's a fucking massive dick.
Yeah. However, Kurt Angle offers one of them the chance to model his actual new T-shirt. So, of course, it was revealed last week that the You Suck T-shirt that Edge swapped. This week, we got the actual T-shirt that Kurt wanted to reveal. And he's offered one of these two guys to be the model, to wear it down to the ring. And Lance Storm said it'll be his pleasure to wear it. At this point, big Valbowski, Val Venus, CUNT face, he's gone. So he asked Kurt if he's worried about the You Suck chance tonight. But Angle's confident that he's not going to be bothered about it, as it's his home state. And if not for him, the place would be the Pits. A play on Pittsburgh. Yay. Yeah, that was that segment. So that thing happened. And then we go straight into the actual reveal of that T-shirt when Kurt walks out. He gets an initial pop and then straight into the You Suck chance. And Storm follows him to the ring with that T-shirt on. And Kurt says straight away, first of all, Lance Storm doesn't suck. He may be Canadian, but he's pretty cool. Builds up his T-shirt. Same one from that he was going to reveal last week. It's got the I can't even remember what it is. He says like, I've got gold. Do you on the front, and then it's got like his list of accomplishments on the back.
Yeah.
He builds up the T-shirt. Tells the crowd that he knows they struggle with money, but if they stop buying beer and porno, they can put it to good use and buy his T-shirt, which still is only available in XXL and up.
Nice.
So,
for the fatties.
Yeah, there is that. So Edge comes out, said he wants to buy a T-shirt, but there's a better one that everybody would rather buy. Kurt Angle's music plays, and out comes the big Valbowski wearing the You Suck T-shirt from last week.
Yeah.
Kurt's pissed off, says that he wants a match at Judgment Day, says Edge will be the one who sucks, sucking meals through a straw in hospital. Storm gets in Angle's ear, telling him that he can beat Edge anytime and anywhere, which Angle agrees, and it would be better to humiliate Edge. So he says if he wins at Judgment Day, Edge will have to shave his hair completely bald. I know.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Edge accepts and throws it back at Angle, saying that if Edge wins, Angle shaves his hair. And Kurt says the people of Pittsburgh would die if their Olympic hero was bald. And then Val Knobhead, for some reason, paraphrases Stone Cold and says, if you want to see Kurt have his head shaved bald at Judgment Day, give me a You Suck.
All right.
It was a bit cringe. Kurt accepts, and then Edge says after their match, Kurt won't be red, white, and blue. He will be red, white, and bold.
Oh, sick burn, Edge.
Boom!
You've done better.
Mic drop.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. And then we go into a match. It's Hardcore Holly versus Randy Orton, rematch from last week where Orton picked up a surprise win in his tryout match.
Oh, yes.
But before we got into the match, we had a earlier today segment. Stacy catches Randy Orton backstage working out and wishes him good luck, kisses him on the cheek, and like Orton's kind of like dismissive of the whole thing and turns his back on her, and like Stacy like checks out his ass, and then it cuts back to the ring.
She's really loving him, isn't she? She's like, this young piece of meat. And she's like, just let me have that D.
She loves something else later. Yeah. So Orton gets... it's 2 segments away. You won't have to wait long. Orton gets the early upper hand, but pisses Holly off. And we go back to Holly going for his stiff kind of style. It's... Like, I thought last week was bad, but this one seems to be, like, a little bit worse. Proceeds to be rough on Randy, loud chops. Like, these were, like, Walter-esque fucking chops. Breaking him in. Orton starts getting back into it, but then Holly belts him in the old testicles.
Nice. Shades of jazz.
So Orton wins via DQ, and then he attacks him after the bell, some more chops, and then takes him up the ramp. That sounds weird. And then it's an Alabama slam on the steel ramp and the birth of How Do You Like Me Now? There it is. So from now on in his theme music, that will start it.
I love that.
For some reason. So that was that match. Farouk and Mark Henry, backstage. And you'll love this in a minute. Farouk shows how much money he's made from all the betting about how strong Mark Henry is. There's quite a decent amount of money, and then he kind of says, I owe Mark some money. So he's like offering him some bits, and then Mark Henry's just like, no, I can't take it. Farouk insists. So Mark Henry starts picking out money, and like Farouk's like, whoa. I meant like $20. So he's like trying to give it. But it's all interrupted by one of your favorites, Mr. Devon.
Oh,
Reverend Devon.
Please call my name.
He walks in.
I need to hear. Yeah, take me to church. Let's go.
He comes in with his donation box, and he's saying that they can take that dirty, sinful money and donate it. But Mark Henry kicks Devon. I love kicks
Reverend
Devon.
Is my favorite.
He kicks Devon out of the locker room, but as Devon's leaving, he threatens some Bible shit on him on the way out. Something about thunder and like revenge or thou shalt not whatever.
Beat up Diva.
And here we go. The main event. That isn't the main event, but it is the main event to me. Creepy Vince! And it's straight away, no messing around here, straight into it. His finger is circling Stacy's belly button.
Oh, I am loaded.
And he mentions the Orton situation from earlier, the good luck kiss, but says he'd like to give Stacy lots of kisses. And quite frankly, there's one area that really turns him on. He'll give Stacy all the luck in the world by kissing that sweet little belly button of yours. Oh, how nice this is.
Spew. My
It's
breakfast is
fucking-
coming up.
It's wrong. It's wrong. So he actually goes down to kiss
Oh,
her
no.
belly button.
No. Please,
Um,
someone interrupt. Anybody.
Jericho busts in.
My dude,
And he
I
said,
knew there was
"Do
a
you-"
reason.
Yeah, he's like, the Undisputed Champion has arrived. I haven't seen Vince's face look so angry in my life. Like, he looked really pissed. He's pissed that Jericho didn't knock, but Y2J turns around and says, the Undisputed Champion doesn't have to knock.
Well,
And then
I mean,
Vince is
I hate to be
he's
the
suddenly
bearer
okay.
of bad news, Jericho, but you're not the Undisputed Champion yet. So just calm your tits.
But we want him to be.
Yeah, we do.
So Y2J has some concerns about the match tonight.
Oh, wait a
He's
minute.
concerned.
Wouldn't you have some concerns about the fact that this old man was just kind of sexually abusing this young woman? Wouldn't you? You don't want to mention that at all, Jericho? Don't want to just throw that in there like, hey, when I walked in, you wouldn't happen to, like, be licking Stacey Keebler's belly button, were you? Like, I just thought I'd mention that, like, you know, just maybe want to explain. No, he's just cared about his championship. As you would, I
Yes.
guess.
I don't think I'd want to talk about that, to be honest with you. I'd avoid that like the fucking plague.
I mean, not wrong.
Yeah, so Jericho's concerned that Hulk Hogan will try and get himself disqualified. So maybe like hit the referee or something. As he's battered up from Raw after Undertaker's attack, he'll take the easy way out. So Vince makes it nice and simple and says that the match tonight will be no DQ. But then he also says he's concerned about the Undertaker showing up. Says the Undertaker says he'd rather face Hogan at Backlash. Oops. He fucked up in front of the boss. Woohoo! So what's stopping him from interfering tonight? And Vince says that him and Rick have an agreement that any interference from other brand superstars will result in an immediate suspension. So he has nothing to worry about.
Wait a minute, SmackDown wasn't live. Why wouldn't they just retape that bit? So he says Judgment Day.
I think it's because it was all in one take. And saying that, no, because he'd want to keep doing the creepy Stacy stuff. That's more of an excuse to get his hands on her, really. Crazy old man.
You could just be like, we fucked up. Let's start that segment again. It's not like we can just do that now.
Yeah. I don't know. But it was very noticeable. And I was Vince didn't react to it. He fucking no-sold that shit, which was good. So Vince heads to go back to Stacy, but then Chris throws another concern at Vince. He's concerned about Triple H.
Oh my god!
Vince...
Please be concerned about Vince, please, Jericho.
Or Stacy.
Yeah, poor Stacy's over there, like traumatized.
But Vince says if Triple H gets involved in the match, it will be career suicide. So then Vince goes back to Stacy, but as he sits down and he's about to lean in on that nice little belly button of Stacy Keibler, Y2J proceeds to sit down on the sofa next to them, and he's there like talking to himself, like building up this match tonight and saying, yeah, like I'm the guy, all this kind of stuff. And then Vince says, can you excuse me for a minute? And like Chris leaves.
I don't know about you. I'm not going to get too sexualized here, but I have never in my entire life been like, that woman over there, I can't wait to just lick out her belly button.
It turns Vince on. That's his area.
I mean, I'm not going to kink shame too much, but I've never been sexually attracted to a belly button. Belly button's actually kind of rank, to be honest. You got a lot of grossness in there.
They're smelly.
Yeah, I don't want to put my tongue in there.
Vince begs to differ, though, but it does get worse. So as Y2J is leaving, he's let me see, where is it? Yeah, he goes like, "Tonight is the night, baby. Tonight is the night." And then Vince says to Stacy that he goes, "He may be right, but tonight is also our night too. What do you say we get busy?"
I hate this, please.
And he goes to kiss her. Open mouth and all, like wide open mouth, like he's going to suck her soul or something like that. And then thankfully the camera cuts before they connect.
Thank God. Oh my God, that was horrific.
So,
Move the fuck on.
We didn't have to see it. But we go from that to a match. Edge and the Big Valbalski versus Angle and Storm. The match was standard stuff, but picked up, of course, when Edge and Angle got in the ring together. We know how good their chemistry is. Eventually, Storm is tagged in, takes control of Edge, and Val is the hot tag. Cleans house until Angle fights back. Edge hits a really good spear on Kurt. And I'm watching like Edge at the moment, and whenever he hits his spears, like, I'm starting to be convinced that Edge has the best spear out of everybody. I know that's weird to say.
He has like a flying hug.
I honestly, like, the ones he's done like around this time look fucking great.
Fair.
I don't know if it's because Angle sells it like really well. I don't know. Maybe we'll see if when he changes up his opponent finally after Judgment Day. Although I think he stays with Angle for a little bit, but we'll get to that. So after Edge has hit that spear on Kurt, Lance Storm does the clothesline over the top rope where he follows Edge. Going out there, Val Venus or Valbowski, whatever the fuck you want to call him. It takes him about 6 years to make the pin, so of course he only gets a 2 count. He goes for the money shot. I believe that's what his jump off the top rope was called back then. But Angle belly to bellies him off the top rope for a 2 count, and then Angle goes for an Angle slam. Val reverses it into a roll-up, but the ref is dealing with Edge on the outside, as he does. And while that's going on, Storm comes in, super kicks Big Valbowski in the face, and Kurt rolls him up for the win.
Right on.
And I hope that is the last time that Storm and Knobhead are in this feud.
Cool.
I don't want to see them for a while.
Yep.
Next up is a promo from one Chris Jericho. He brags about last week and how he'll be Hollywood Hulk has been tonight, doing something the game, or should he say the shame?
Not your best.
Not
word.
great. Yeah, not great. Couldn't do a backlash. So he says he'll do what every WWE superstar aspires to do, and that's drive a stake through the heart of Hulkamania.
Let's hope so.
Yes.
One can only hope.
So he starts mocking Hogan's catchphrases, but then Hulk Hogan comes out. Triple H comes out.
Oh, this is in the ring. Okay, I thought this was backstage.
This is the ring, yeah.
Okay.
So he gets in Chris's face and just laughs at him. Jericho's asking, why are you laughing? Suggesting it's because he's jealous. And then says there's nothing Triple H can do, as if he touches him tonight, he'll be committing career suicide. And he keeps teasing Triple H, saying that he's like scared and all this kind of stuff, saying to hit him, saying like I'll give you a free shot, all that kind of stuff. Calls him a son of a bitch. That is not bleeped.
Ooh.
Hooray! We have
You got a
It's not even a
bitch in
swear. It's not even a swear,
bitch
really.
Is not. Bitch is so tame.
But bitch is always bleeped on these Smackdowns, or at least it has so far. This one was not, and I put in excitement, not bleeped! Exclamation marks. And then says that Triple H is scared of him, but he's annoyed that Triple H keeps smiling at him. So Triple H grabs the microphone and says it's because he knows something that Chris Jericho doesn't know, and that is that there is no chance in hell that Chris will become the undisputed WWF champion tonight. So Chris looks very, very confused. Triple H is cocky and then leaves the ring. So you kind of left wondering, what the fuck is he talking about? It was a bit of a... I was actually expecting him to say like something else, but then to go, there's no chance of you winning. I was kind of, is that just you saying that, or do you have something planned? I don't know. Then we have Farouk and Mark Henry versus Christian and Test. Classic matchup. It's actually not that bad. It's very physical, very hard hitting. Like there's some big moves in here. Like I think Mark Henry throws Christian. Like you think Cesaro gets air when he throws people up and then hits them with that uppercut. Like Mark Henry was like to the moon and back. It was ridiculous. But then Devon comes out halfway through the match into the crowd, all mic'd up to collect money for his donation box. Mark Henry and Farouk are not happy about it, so they go and confront him. Mark Henry takes all of the money from the box and throws it straight into the crowd. He turns his back on Devon. Devon attacks him, and then Mark Henry chases him off. Bear in mind, by the way, that Mark Henry is still wearing a Backlash t-shirt. I don't know why.
Right on. Cool.
Either give him his own merch or like kind of give him a Judgment Day t-shirt because that's coming up. Like Backlash, you can get away with wearing a Backlash t-shirt last week because it was like the post pay-per-view show. But to wear a Backlash t-shirt this week, no.
Righto.
Get some fucking merch or just wear something else.
Yeah.
Farouk, of course, then goes back into the ring on his own without his tag team partner. He dodges a big boot, hits a spine buster on Test, but Christian gets Farouk with the unprettier for the win.
Lit.
Standard affair. And finally, a title match that makes sense. Tajiri with Tori Wilson, still in full geisha getup, versus Billy Kidman. So, of course, Billy Kidman pinned Tajiri last week in that strange homophobic kind of tag match that kind of went on. Yeah. And I'm slowly being convinced that Tajiri is the greatest of all time. Like, he's so fucking good. Yes. I'll keep watching. I'm just like, I can't fault him. He's so good. It was standard stuff like that they've done, and we've already seen from them before. A lot of like stuff was kind of like rinse and repeat from Backlash. But Tajiri goes for a tarantula, but doesn't get it in. Boo. So Tajiri falls to the outside, the same side that Tori's on. And then Billy Kidman goes to jump out of the ring onto Tajiri. Tajiri ain't having none of that. He pulls Tori in front of him and uses her as a shield. So Billy Kidman takes out Tori. Tajiri throws Kidman in the ring, hits that buzzsaw kick, and gets the free count. Long live Tajiri and Tori. He doesn't even help Tori.
Hell yeah.
What a bastard heel that guy is. Oh, hello. Again, capitals. Creepy Vince is back. We're seeing Vince and Stacey finishing putting all their clothes back on. So they did get busy.
Oh, they boned. They full went to the bone zone. Awesome.
They did indeed.
That's nice to know.
He asked Stacey to go and get Triple H for him. Triple H comes in after a commercial break. And Vince tells Triple H that until the divorce comes through, they are still technically family. So he feels inclined to tell him that if he interferes tonight, his career is done, even though that was already common knowledge. But hey, there you go. End of segment. Whew. Creepy Vince.
Yuck.
Then we go to the main event. So Chris Jericho versus Hulk Hogan, undisputed title match. This has nothing to do with wrestling whatsoever, but it caught me off guard. There's a guy in the crowd wearing a Hogan getup, which, that happens. But he's taking a picture with a disposable camera. I was kind of like, there's a little bit of a throwback from old.
This
disposable fucking camera. There's even crowds, and even that's dated. Nobody's seen a crowd for a long time.
Yeah, honestly.
So Hogan is not good. So slow. That's what I put in my notes. It's bad. Like he'll get like thrown into the ropes, and he'll hit the ropes, but then stop and then run. Like it's just everything he does is just so fucking slow. And I know we spoke about on the Backlash episode about the age. And I said, like, he's a year younger than what Jericho is now. Like, Jericho's, like, obviously he's not what he was, but he's still hitting, like, lion saws and all that kind of shit. And springboard drop kicks. And then on the other hand, Hulk Hogan is a year younger than what Jericho is now, is, like...
dying.
Dying. Yeah, it was like, fuck. It's painful. But anyway, aside from taking off Hogan's bandana, it's all Hogan.
Oh, yeah.
Early on. And then he eventually gets to the point where he does the 10 punches in the corner, but Chris hits a low blow on the 10th punch. And then from there, he controls the match. But then Hulk Hogan does his Hulk up bollocks. Thankfully, it doesn't last long. He misses a very, very slow elbow drop. And Chris hits the Lion Salt. Only gets a 2 count. And then Triple H comes down to the ring, but goes straight onto commentary. Of course, Chris Jericho is like, what the fuck are you doing here? Very distracted. I was expecting a roll up here, but it didn't happen. We get Hulk Up 2.0.
Yeah.
We get the punches. We
Can't
get the
wait.
big boot.
Yes.
However, the leg drop is countered into a Walls of Jericho. Thank you, Jericho. This is another fucking thing with Hogan, right? He's in the Walls of Jericho, right? And he's crawling to the ropes. All he has to do is put out. This is what I never understand, especially I'm just shitting on Hogan because I don't like him. Like, he could literally just, he wouldn't even have to extend his arm fully to fucking get that hand on the rope. He's literally just like, it's millimeter steps to the front. It's like, Hogan, just fucking grab the rope. We know you're going to do it. Just fucking grab it. He grabs the rope. Jericho's not happy. Goes out the ring to grab a steel chair and clocks Hogan on the back with the chair. He's setting himself up to bash Hogan in the head, but then Taker's music plays.
From Raw? He's from Raw, though.
But nobody comes out. So whilst Jericho's distracted with that, Hogan rolls him up for the 1, 2, 3.
Damn.
So you could say that Triple H kind of orchestrated that whole thing. And literally out of nowhere, Triple H dives in the ring, starts attacking Jericho, but Jericho gets out of there. What the hell have I put here? Oh, yeah. This is a typo of epic proportions here. So Jericho escapes, and Triple H rubs him off. He actually runs him off. He doesn't rub him off. He runs him off.
Thank Lord.
And that ends Smackdown.
Little tug off to end Smackdown. They'll bleep fucking bitch, but they won't.
Goes and finds Vince backstage for a nice little rubbing session.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, there's a nice little image to go off.
To go off.
Yes.
Oh no.
So Smackdown was okay. Like, it was a lot better than last week, but that's not saying anything. Like, none of the matches were terrible. Even the Jericho Hogan one wasn't terrible. Some of the segments were good. Of course, the highlight is always Creepy Vince, and will forever be Creepy Vince until he decides to go somewhere else. I honestly, that's the thing I look forward to every week. What is Creepy Vince doing this week? I don't think anything was set up for next week's show, as far as I'm
Luckily,
aware.
I have
So
something.
it's a clean slate. I don't know what to expect from next week. Obviously, I know the storylines that are going on, but
We're not
who knows
saying
where they're going to go?
We're not spoiling anything, just in case people haven't watched this, because there's probably a handful of people that haven't watched this time. So you can live it with us, and you get to look forward to that big 6-man tag on Raw next week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yay.
so excited. I'm so thrilled. I got to see Ric Flair and Bradshaw and Big Show.
Just to top it off. That is the icing on the cake. The cherry on top, you may say.
Who the fuck wants to eat fruit on a cake? You want to eat the fucking cake. You don't want the fucking fruit. Throw that shit out.
Here's a point, though. And it's probably something we should have talked about before we started recording, but fuck it. Like, let's just talk about it now. WrestleMania is next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
We record on Sundays, Josh. What are we going to do?
So I've already explained this in the little thing that I did when I announced the Josh Robinson 00 Network. On pay-per-view days, we will not have an episode next week. We'll have an episode the week after. That's how I kind of just did it, just so it's easier, because I'm always free on this day to record. It always kind of works. So there is no Dits versus Josh next week, but we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Everybody. I was going to say that at the end of this episode anyway. So you will just have to catch up next week. There's no Dits versus Josh next Monday, because it is WrestleMania weekend. There's a lot. We're going to be pretty occupied for the 2 days before with Mania. So there's no Dits versus Josh next week, but don't fear, we will be back the week after. So
For
pay-per-view days. So because obviously pay-per-views fall my time on a Monday morning. That's when we record this, everybody. So I'm recording on a Monday morning, releasing on a Monday afternoon my time. Our schedules, we live in two very different time zones, everybody. So it's just easier if we stick to the same time every week. But on pay-per-view days, which is, we don't know, this might be the last pay-per-view for a little while. We really don't know. This is WWE pay-per-view days because obviously AEW is on a Sunday my time, so it doesn't affect. But WWE pay-per-view days, you won't get a Dits versus Josh. But don't fear, you'll still be able to listen to... You have 2 weeks to listen to this episode, so... Don't fear, we will be back. We're not going away like last time. We will be back. But WrestleMania is coming up. I guess to end this episode... you'll hear me a lot this week talk about WrestleMania. I've kind of made a point just to kind of put WrestleMania in, because I did have stuff planned for this week for WrestleMania week, but it's just not happening because WrestleMania doesn't feel like WrestleMania. No one's really that, running off the edge of their seat to really watch WrestleMania. It's just kind of on. So, I hope everyone does enjoy WrestleMania, as we probably, even from the few hours where I'm editing this, shit will probably change because it seems to be every second something's changing with WrestleMania or just the world in general. So I don't know. I hope everyone's kind of excited. I'm sure everyone's still going to watch it. Or the people who haven't read spoilers. You and me will be watching it, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's still WrestleMania at the end of the day. And to be honest, I'm curious to see how they do it. In the PC. As long as they can smuggle some kind of fucking pirate ship in there, I will be happy. Because they can't really make it look like
in a boat. Wrestle in a boat.
Oh,
a wrestling ring. Not even a wrestling ring, just wrestle in a boat. Why the fuck not? Make it like full cinematic movie. Have it really dramatic and like.
I like that.
I like that. Hey, you like boats? Your job is a boat. Basically.
I do like boats.
Your job is a boat.
It's my whole gimmick. It's my life.
It's boats. This would have been your year for Mania then. This would have been the Dits WrestleMania.
I know, and I hyped that up a couple of weeks ago. This was going to be a big week. I was going to do loads of stuff on YouTube for it, and then it just kind of went.
I had so much stuff planned. There was going to be, for everybody wanting to know, this week was going to have 3 or 4 Josh plays with a bunch of Road to WrestleManias from different old wrestling games. I was going to do all wrestling themed episodes of all my shows this week and do different WrestleMania stuff. There was going to be Reverb Rewinds and Mania to Manias, and it just, I don't know, I was forcing myself to do it because I was trying to get myself in the Mania mode, but I don't know, maybe we'll have a big SummerSlam this year if everything is blown over by then. SummerSlam might feel a little bit bigger, so maybe we'll do SummerSlam week stuff. Who really knows? If all goes to plan, Dits versus Josh, SummerSlam should fall around SummerSlam time.
I think it should, especially if we're taking weeks off every now and then. I think it'll all merge.
Roughly around SummerSlam week time. So this will either be like SummerSlam for us will either be a little bit before or after the Dits versus Josh episode, if that makes any sense. So should go all to plan. But yes, no Dits versus Josh next week. It'll be a Monday free. I'll make sure I hype up this episode again next Monday as well, so you can catch up. And we'll have the poll and everything like that, and you can go and vote.
I mean, if possible, I'll extend that poll for 2. I don't know if you can do that. Is it just a week?
I think it's just 7 days. That's the main
I'll put it up for the maximum that it'll go for.
And we'll be hyping away on the accounts and stuff like that, and I'll make sure that you know. And everyone knows how I kind of do this at this point. Everyone's kind of used to how I do the network, and I put out my little this week on. So you just notice that Dits versus Josh won't be there that week, because that's the way it's gonna be. We have other stuff to do.
WrestleMania, baby.
Everyone go and watch WrestleMania.
With a sad voice.
I hope you do enjoy it. Me and Dits, I'm sure we'll talk before WrestleMania on Twitter and stuff like that.
Yes.
Maybe it'll just be us. Just vibing to WrestleMania. Just woo, 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 woo. I'll be watching it alone because Australia, everybody, has new social distancing rules that doesn't allow, unless you have people that live in your household, more than 2 people in a house at once.
Oh.
Yeah, no gatherings more than 2 people unless it's of the same family. I live alone. It's just me and my cat. So, I will be watching WrestleMania alone this year. My sister and Ryan and stuff like that, they're not really that keen on watching wrestling. They're casual. They don't watch every week. They just watch the pay-per-views. They're like, I don't think I'm going to watch WrestleMania without fans. And I'm like, I'm not going to force you to. Usually I'd kick up a little stink and be like, no, you got to come watch wrestling with me. But I can't make them this time. Like, it's just, I understand if you don't want to watch it. So I'll be watching WrestleMania alone, which is not, I usually have like heaps of people here for Mania, but we're not allowed to this year. It's against the law.
I'll do what the Dits tradition is here and make my wife watch it.
Yeah.
Against her will.
Yeah.
It's a Dits takeover in the living room.
Dits would just be sitting there watching Mania and just be like, just love that belly button. My wife's belly button.
Maybe I could reenact it, see what she thinks. I don't think she'd be too keen.
It would go down great. I mean, I don't know your wife, but I couldn't imagine it would go down too well. But hey, you do you.
I mean, as somebody who has known my wife for 7 years, she ain't going to appreciate that. Especially when I put Vince's voice on.
It's okay. Vince McMahon did it.
And Stacey seemed to like it.
No worries. She's going to be the Stacey to your Vince. It's just like, yes. Can't wait for that pickup line that I have. When places open again, I'm actually allowed to go out. It's just...
Do you know an area that really turns me on?
Good old belly button. Scrumptious. That and Rikishi's ass, of course.
Well, either or. Either or.
Same thing, really. One probably smells better than the other.
And that's Rikishi's ass at the sound of things.
By the sound of things. Thanks, wrestlers. Wrestling's weird. What a weird outro this is. Not mad.
Yeah, they always are. We're terrible at outros. We can do a whole episode, which is a fucking outro.
I'm awful at outros. I always have been. It is not my strong point. And I've just kind of owned it by this point. Intros, sign me up. All the substance, sign me up. But outros, it's like, how do I end an episode? Someone needs to be standing next to me and just press the end record button. Because I keep looking at them like, should I end? No, it's like, no. It's like this. I just keep going.
Yeah.
All right. Well, where can we find you?
Get your plug in, Josh.
You get your plugs in.
I'll get my plug in.
Get your plugs in.
So social media, you can find me at Dits on Wrestling. I've got an Instagram and I've got a Facebook. Don't bother with them really, so don't worry about that. Twitter is where it's at Dits on Wrestling. My Dits on YouTube account is starting to change now. I have a snazzy new intro now, which is nice. So go and subscribe to the channel Dits on YouTube. There will be a few things coming up this week. So maybe WrestleMania based stuff. I'll see how I feel. But the big thing that I really want to hype is the latest episode of the Dow Pod, the Dits on Wrestling podcast. I wanted to do something WrestleMania based, but because obviously the situation we're in, it's not that hype. So I flipped the switch. I changed gears.
TikTok.
I just flipped the switch.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Hey, no TikTok slander. I like TikTok.
Shut up. Me and my first mate Anthony from Anthony Talk Stuff. We did the worst WrestleMania card of all time, and it really is. And it evolved as we were going into that episode to turn into like a pre-show experience. So it's like you're listening to a pre-show to a major pay-per-view. We go into like analysis of it. We break down the storylines and all that kind of, like, honestly, like you'll never see matches or storylines like this anywhere else. It's crazy. And a little sneak peek, if anybody hasn't watched it yet, there's a ladder match between Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy, which sounds great on paper. However, you have to, whoever builds a ladder first wins the match. So that's what to expect with that episode. So go and check that out, because honestly, it's the best thing I've ever done on that show. Like, I'm fucking proud of this.
I'll listen to it later. It's always my Monday afternoon listening, so I'll listen to it later. I guess my turn to get my plugs in. The best thing I've ever done, probably I did yesterday. I did a Josh Plays yesterday, Evolution 2. And
yes, bravo, by the way.
I have never been more, like, just, I don't know, prouder of my own content than that. I was like, I did a good job with that. I worked, I had people watching live. Everyone was kind of telling me, like, do more of these. You kind of have that kind of lane and just drive right down it, basically. So there's going to be more stuff like that, especially in this time when there's not a hell of a lot of wrestling on. I just want people to gather and kind of just be involved as much as possible. It's a couple of hours of just mindless kind of just trying to give you some kind of wrestling experience. So go check out that. It's over on my YouTube, Josh Robinson 00. You can watch the replay of it. And be on the lookout on my Twitter, again, Josh Robinson 00. About the next one, because I already have, you know how I am, Dits. I'm an ideas man. I have lots of ideas on what to do for the next one, so stay posted to my Twitter over the next couple of days, and you'll see what's going down. Because we have got Easter coming up, and Easter's going to be a little bit different this year for everybody. It's not really going to be family gatherings and all of that stuff, which Easter's usually about, which is strange. So maybe I'll have something over Easter weekend. Maybe. Tease, the eyes emojis coming out. But you can find all my stuff at Josh Robinson 00. That's pretty much where I am everywhere. You can check out everything here on the network all week, as well as check out all of my stuff over on my YouTube as well, all the classic Josh plays that I have done. Other than that, that's pretty much it. We'll see you in 2 weeks, I guess. There's really not much else to say. 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks' time. How are we going to go 14 days without talking on Skype to each other? Maybe we'll just have like a Skype session where we just cry.
we could watch WrestleMania together.
We technically could, because I'm watching it alone.
So my TV is over there, so I could.
My TV's over there. I could just it'll literally look like I'm staring right at you.
There you go.
Maybe we'll watch WrestleMania together. Maybe we'll do that. Who knows? Are you watching both nights? Well, you're
yes,
you're home.
definitely
You're working
nights.
from home, aren't you?
Indefinite. Well, it was only the other day we were told you need to put in on our little work system. You're working from home for 3 months.
Oh.
So I was like, shit. Okay. No fucking complaints here. June, happy. Whether it goes that way, I don't know.
I go back to work later next week. So, but we've all been told if we feel too uncomfortable working, they're more than happy to pay us from home and be like, if you don't feel comfortable, we're not going to force you to work. I probably will still go work because I'm kind of going a little bit insane. I've been out of my house once in a week, which is, it gets a little bit like, whoa, especially when you live on your own. You're like, I haven't had any social interaction, person to person for a bit. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, cool. We might watch WrestleMania together. Maybe we'll do something. Who knows? Stay posted, everybody. Stay posted. But until 2 weeks' time, we'll see you on the next Dits versus Josh. See you later.